Welcome to the Sharpe Way Show. Yes, 7 p.m. Eastern Time, and you got to hear me yap again. As always, I'm so happy you've joined me here. Later on this evening, the Democratic Convention will continue. What I love is that what everyone says about it is it's unprecedented. Libertarians did one already. Not really sure what's unprecedented. Precedented. Only issue is ours wasn't seen on TV like theirs is. But not unprecedented, not true, but they all want to believe their own hype. All good. What can you do? Guys, like, comment, share. I bug you every time. Why aren't you doing it? Some of you are commenting. Thank you, and I will get to your comments. Please make sure you are sharing and click those like buttons, those happy buttons, those I hate Larry Sharpe buttons. I don't care. Click those buttons to get those algorithms going. We need to make it happen. And of course, please, if you're not watching me on Facebook, The Sharpe Way, then go like The Sharpe Way. It does matter. We need multiple ways of making that happen. All right, I want to bring up a couple of people who spoke last night and the tactics I think they're using. And I'm not sure if they're going to work, but it's obvious, right? The tactics seem obvious. If you're paying attention to this at all, and some of you are and some of you aren't, but if you're paying attention at all, you can see that both Democrats and Republicans have two battles they're trying to fight at the same time, right? One that's internal and one that's external. And even internally, there's multiple within internally, right? When it comes to Democratic Party specifically, they are looking to get, the people who are Democrats to get out there and vote, but also they're trying to get that person who's hovering, that Democrat who thinks Democrats have gone too far left. I happen to know many of those Democrats who they're not afraid of Joe Biden. That's in their mind, that's a normal Democrat. Whatever, fine. They don't really care about Kamala that much. That's a regular Democrat, whatever. But there's a group of people who think Bernie's a bridge too far. I'm a Democrat, but not a socialist, right? That group of people the Democrats want to bring in. That's the outsider they want to try to bring in. They also want to bring in the Republicans, who are people, aren't Republicans really, but people who lean right, usually vote Republican because they lean right, but aren't really sure. They're hoping to bring them in, right? And that's where they put the Republicans up. They're trying to do that. Republicans have a similar situation. They're also trying to get people who are leaning right, making sure they come back home. And then those people who are kind of leaning left and are afraid of socialism, no, come to us. We are not that, come to us. They're both having an external fight. And internally, they're trying to make sure their people are motivated and still show up, right? Are motivated and still show up. Two ways they're worried about that. One, and particularly Republicans are worried about this themselves, is Donald Trump's a shoo-in, so I don't have to vote. Doesn't matter. I'm not excited to vote. They have to make sure, Republicans have to make sure their base shows up again. Doesn't go, it doesn't matter. He's going to win my state. It doesn't matter. He's a shoo-in. They have to make sure that doesn't happen. And Democrats, same thing. But Democrats also have to make sure they're able to keep the moderate Democrat and the far left Democrat. And they were trying last night. I think that's true. They were trying last night. They put up the governors. They put up Kasich. They put him up, John Kasich, and all those Republicans. And I think it wasn't a bad move, right? I think it's what they call, showing that it's okay, right? If you're Republican, you can vote for Biden this time. They're trying to create the Biden Republican versus a Reagan Democrat. The problem that they're having is the Biden Republican isn't really a Biden Republican. If any of you know Republicans who are considering voting for Biden, they're not really Biden Republicans. They're never Trumpsters. It's a different thing. The Democrats who went to Reagan actually liked Reagan's charisma. They were drawn to Reagan. The Republicans who are going to Biden aren't drawn to Biden. They are somehow repelled from Trump. It's a different issue. So if you do bring these Republicans over, I'm not sure if they're going to, but if they do, it's not going to be a permanent thing. Like, it's not going to be a shift into a Biden Republican. It'll be Trump's gone, I'll go back to Republican again. So I'm not sure that, and they may not care. Remember, the goal of Democrats is to beat Trump. That is the goal. So they threw out Kasich, who said what they always say. This is the most important election ever. The stakes are high. And he didn't say that Biden's policies were good. And that's my point. He didn't say that Biden was charismatic. And that's my point. He said Biden's a good man. Basically, Kasich's argument against Trump was not policy-based. It was, he's a bad man. Does that work? I don't know. You know, my gut says they've been calling Trump bad man for a long time. I'm not sure that's going to work. That's my view on that. I'm not sure. Let me grab a couple of comments now. Then I'll keep going. John still voting Joe Jorgensen. Me too. Look, I'm watching this as a spectator. I'm not going to swap sides, right? This isn't going to convince. Oh my God, I've been a Democrat, so that I'm not going to swap sides because of course not. All I'm saying is this is politics, guys. And for those of you who are Republicans or Democrats, it's good for you to understand these tactics. But for those of you who are libertarians or third party, it's also good for you to understand these tactics. We need to know what they're doing also. It's nothing but good either way. Steffi, absolutely not. And who do they really think they are fooling? Everyone featured yesterday was either straight communist or communist light. The fake ploy to play in the middle isn't really fooling any fence riders. See, Steffi, I'm not sure because they threw the Republicans out there. And I don't think, whatever you think about Kasich, I'm not a fan, but I don't think the guy's a communist. I don't believe he's a communist. I think a bunch of Republicans, they aren't communists. So I'm not sure that's true. The question is, are the Republicans who would vote for Biden, are they watching that? And I know the numbers. Are they watching? That's my issue. So, Georgia 2020, yes, I'm in. Garbage TV. Well, yes and no. I mean, you got to remember something, guys. For those of you who don't want to watch this, you don't have to. I'm going to watch it again tonight, too, and tomorrow. This is a big chunk of our nation. And some people who are watching are Democrats, and they're watching, and they're going to vote Biden. And this is a large part of our nation. We have to understand them like they have to understand us. How are we going to survive, right? How are they going to survive? How are we going to survive if we don't do that? Yes. The Dems have been taken on by leftists. The liberals are pandering, but they'll soon get eaten up as well. There's definitely, they put Bernie Sanders up, and Bernie was straight up. He was like, and I like Biden because he's not Trump. That's why I like Biden. And I like Biden because he's going to let me beat him up a little bit, and he's taking up some of my policies. So I think there's some value. I think the Democrat Party, I'm sure the Democrat Party has gone further left. But Biden actually is not that much of a leftist compared. It's a relative issue compared to Bernie, right? Relative to Bernie, Biden is much more mainstream. He's still left. He's still a Democrat. But relatively, he isn't that bad. Kamala also, compared to Bernie, really not that bad. She's much more of a panderer, right? Kamala Harris is much more of a panderer. I think Biden actually does have some emotions of his own. So are these people shifting to the middle or... Thank you, Jonathan. Are they actually shifting? That's the image they're portraying. That's what I would say, Jonathan. Are they actually? I don't know. But they're definitely portraying it. I think the Democratic Party itself is not shifting to the middle, but I do think there is a worry, and Biden and Kamala Harris is a center pick for Democrats, right? If you're a Democrat, you're not looking at Biden going, he's crazy left. You're not saying that. If you're a Republican, you're saying he's crazy left. But if you're a Democrat, that's much more mainstream in line with who you are. So I don't know if they're shifting. I don't know. I think the opposite is happening. Again, Bill, I'm not necessarily sure if it's actually happening, but the image that they are trying to produce is absolutely that. I think that's definitely the image they're trying to portray. Now isn't the time to waste your vote on the inappropriate men from inadequate parties. Yeah, you brought that piece up, Thomas. Thank you. The most important piece of the entire night for me personally, well, there were two. One was Cuomo, obviously, because he's my Lord and Master here in New York State. That's one. But the other one was when Michelle Obama literally mentioned, if you remember, she said, there's no time to waste your vote on a candidate who can't win. She brought that up. Hillary Clinton brought that up about 5 months ago, 6 months ago, whenever it was, saying that, you know what, the Tulsi Gabbard is just going to be someone who's going to come in for a fringe third party that can't win. We can't waste time on that. Yeah. Yes. And what that shows you is they are worried that third parties, libertarian, Joe Jorgensen, might take so many votes that it might affect the election. They're worried about that. That's why they've been left. Don't waste your time. Don't listen to those crazy libertarians. Don't do it, right? But there's something else. Democrats are also worried about Greens. That's one of the reasons to the, I think, was it Bill's point about moving to the left? It's one of the reasons why they're worried about losing votes to Howie Hawkins. If you watched Howie Hawkins on my show 2-3 weeks ago, he's an open socialist. He is socialist, right? He literally has the Socialist Party endorsement. That's the far left is Howie Hawkins. And I think that's where they're afraid some people will go. Yes. And the duopoly, yes, absolutely, 100%. So shift to the middle, yeah, right. I don't think Daniel believes it. Yes, yes. Cuomo, yes, I will deal with Cuomo in a moment. Absolutely, I want to cover a couple of these first, if I could. I just want to make sure that we covered a couple of these first before I went there, but I absolutely will go there. The DN convention is one giant infomercial for a product America doesn't need. That is a very good. Oh, I'm so stealing that, Pete, and probably not giving you any credit, but I'm gonna say it's great. It is like one big infomercial, isn't it? It's just like you hang out and then people talk, and some of them are taped. I'm so old. Recorded. Sorry, they're recorded. If they're recorded, can't we just watch it all online? Yeah, kind of. But let me go down a couple more of these if I could. What I thought was very interesting is how the Republicans who they brought on to speak was all the first day to try to get people who are not Democrats to stay and watch the next couple of days. That's not a bad idea. Will it work? I'm unsure. But it's not a bad idea to say, hey, look, if you're not Democrat, here are some non-Democrats are here. Please stay and watch the rest and hopefully be convinced and hopefully feel like this idea is called social proof. Those of you who know influence know that's the concept. Social proof means if other people are doing it, it's okay for me to do it also. So if these Republicans are voting for Biden, so can I. It's not a bad tactic. I don't know how much it'll work, but to be forward, if you know what's going on, this could be a very close election. And they want, if they just get 1%, that good enough, we'll take it. So I think it's actually not a bad tactic. I think Kasich was not a bad tactic. Kasich now is a contributor for CNN now. So he's now pushing that narrative. It's not a bad deal. The way they did that. They also had on Bernie Sanders, obviously. Bernie Sanders spent his whole time talking and trying to get people to vote because he saw what I told you guys many times. In 2016, the Democrat, this plan didn't work. They thought they get Trump easy. They'll shift to, they'll be Hillary Clinton. They'll get an establishment candidate and they'll beat Trump because America doesn't want the rebel. They want an establishment candidate. Boy, was that not true. Well, we'll just outspend. Well, boy, that wasn't true. So Bernie knows that a big chunk, there's three different parts of the Bernie bros from 2016, the Bernie supporters from 2016. One chunk, 1/3 of them voted Hillary, closed their nose and went, fine, we'll vote Hillary. We lean left, we'll vote Hillary. Forget about it. Bernie said, so we'll do it. Another third said, I'm going home. I'm not showing up. You stole Bernie from me. I'm not showing up. Another third voted Trump. Now you might say, well, why can they vote Trump? They were rebels. They wanted a rebel. They lost Bernie as a rebel. Well, here's Trump. He's a rebel. Let's go to him. And they did. And that was one of the reasons, not the only, obviously, but one of the reasons why Trump won. Bernie knows that just like I do and so many others. If you remember, Bernie literally said, don't stay home. I know some of you voted for Trump. Now is not the time. He literally talked to them, hoping they were listening and that they wouldn't do it again. Instead, they would come vote for Biden and not go vote for Trump. If you also notice, Bernie's scared. He thinks Trump can still win this thing. And he's right. Trump can. The polls look bad for Trump, but that doesn't mean he can't win. That just means the polls right now look bad for Trump, but he can still win this thing. Bernie's scared. And if you notice, in 2016, he was happy. He was like, well, Hillary, it's not Trump. That was basically his speech. This speech was, I know Joe, he's going to help me. We're going to get this done. It was a different speech, different power. For those of you libertarians and third-party people who are watching, watch how so many of these people edified Joe Biden. We need to be better at that. We need to be better at that. As a third party, we're not good at that. We say, I'm principled. This person running, whatever. Instead of saying, this person's great and here's why. I'm voting for this person and here's why. We need to be better at that. So yes, it is an infomercial. Absolutely it is. Absolutely it is. So that was Sanders. He spent most of his time trying to let people know on the far left that, hey, Biden's hearing us. Biden's going to help us out. Kasich said the opposite. He literally said it's the same convention. Kasich says, if you remember what he said, he goes, I know some of you are afraid that Biden's going to turn hard left. And people were like, yep, that's exactly what I'm scared of. And he was like, not going to happen. I know him. It won't happen. So in the same night, you got Kasich going, he's not going to turn hard left. And you got Bernie going, he's so going to turn hard left. Right? So is it just an infomercial, Pete? Does it sweep and does it also, clean your socks? Does it do everything? Maybe it does. So anyway, the DNC announced a man with a gun. Not sure. Blue Dog Democrat. Oh, okay. Yep. Mm-hmm. Michelle Obama said, don't vote for someone who doesn't stand a chance. Thank you. Yes, that's what it was. Sorry, I used thank you. Doesn't stand a chance. That's what it was. Yes. Don't waste your time. Absolutely. 100%. Yes. They picked Kamala to show fence sitters that they're going to be tough on crime. I do think that was part of it. I do, Jody. I think they were trying to say, see, we're not going to let the rioters get away with it. We're bringing on a cop. I think that was what they were trying to do. I'm not sure it worked. Well, I think we'll see in the coming months if she all of a sudden gets tough on crime and get the rioters. If she does that, then I think it'll work. I'm not sure that's going to work. I haven't seen her do it. She's just been sweet as pie, happy so far. I think after the convention, you're going to see what Kamala's actually going to do. Yeah. Funny enough, Trump Democrats actually exist, but Biden Republicans don't. That's true. You're right. Biden Republicans aren't going to be Biden Republicans. They're going to be, I don't like Trump Republicans, right? That's who they're going to be. Kasich is not a Biden Republican. He's a I don't like Trumper. That's what he is. Totally different. And you're totally right. But there are Democrats who've rushed to Trump. That's true. Trump has much of a personality, right? I mean, you guys know this. Trump has much more of a personality than Biden does. And so did Reagan. Reagan was very charismatic. So was Clinton. Clinton was very charismatic. So lots of people flocked to those people because of that. So Kasich was a douche. He dropped balloons over himself for winning Ohio. That's nice. I would bet others would agree with you, Bill. Yes. Strictly as a spectator, the Dems are consistently relying on feelings over facts. I think you're also right. Yes. If you find what many of them were doing was they talking heavily about social issues and social justice. It's a common thing for Democrats. And it's easy because what the phrase Michelle Obama used, which I got to tell you, her speech, some of you can be mad, was a good speech. It was good. I don't know, was she taped it? I recorded it several days ago or weeks ago, whatever it was. It was well done. I mean, if she did it in one take, I have no idea if that was one take or 35 takes. If she did it in one take, kudos to her. It was a very well done speech. But she mentioned the word empathy more than once. And polling has shown many Americans who are on that fence, that's what they're looking for. The American who's on the fence, who things have not worked out the way they wanted to work out for them, who's thinking, I don't want to do this anymore. I don't like the Trump train. I don't like the socialism train. I don't know what to do. That person, empathy is a critical piece. And she actually mentioned that. And this, without question, Trump struggles on that. That's not his strong suit. And she brought it up and she was right. And anyone who knows Trump knows, yep, not a strong suit. This is not where he shines. And she brought it up. Her speech actually was on the money. She did something that was far better than what anyone else did. If you listen to what Cuomo did or Bernie did, all they did was go, Trump bad, Trump bad, Trump bad. Everyone else just said, Biden's a good man. Biden's a good man. Michelle's speech was the best one. And this is why you're actually getting the least critique of it. And sadly for Trump, he actually responded to it. And he shouldn't have. It just gave it more power. And the reporter who brought it up for Trump knew it would work, knew he would bite. She said, here's some bait. What about that Michelle Obama? And he was like, Michelle. And he attacked, of course, because that's what Trump does. But that wasn't a smart move by Trump. He should not have responded. He'd be like, whatever. They'll say what they're going to say and move on. but Michelle's was good. The rest of them were the same thing. Social justice. Biden's a good man. Trump evil. Hers, she didn't do that. She actually said Trump wasn't ready. He wasn't the guy that we need right now. A nuanced argument for the right audience. If you're going to vote Trump, you're not going to be affected by what Michelle Obama says. It doesn't matter. You're not being affected. But if you're that person in the middle who's worried, that 1% sliver the Democrats want to pull away from Trump, that's a good argument. I'm just going to tell you, it's a good argument, right? And sometimes remember, Dave, voting. I know this when I ran. It's not about facts. It's about feelings. Voting is heavily emotional. For most people, I shouldn't say that's too much of a blanket statement. Not for everyone, but for at least 66, 2/3 of the electorate, it's about emotion. And that's enough to win. So fighting an emotion is not necessarily a bad idea. Not necessarily a bad idea. Goal 2020, I'm in. I doubt very few will swap sides. Minds are made up no matter who they vote for. I think what you're saying, Jason. I think you're right. Again, I don't think they're not looking for this to be a massive, all of a sudden, oh my God, the Republicans are becoming Democrats. I don't think they're looking for that. The Republicans won't look for that either when they run theirs. They're looking for that 1%, that sliver, to pull them over, and because they know this is going to be a close election. And that's who they're shooting for, I think. And to make sure, of course, that their team shows up at the polls. They have to make sure their team shows up. That's a critical piece, without question. That's a critical piece. So, all right, if I can grab some of these. Dems are accepting Biden reluctantly. Yeah, that's 100% true. Most Democrats are like, he'll do. Yeah, he's not Trump, right? Done. You've heard me say it before. Biden could be a ham sandwich. And they'd be like, I'm voting ham sandwich, right? It's not true. Is it a Trump ham sandwich? No, voting for it. Done. Yes. And Kamala is a cop. I got you 100%. Kasich is an opportunist looking at a future position or another run. I think that's true, Josh. I do. I think that's true. He sees the writing on the wall, and he's thinking that Trump is going to lose. So he's gambling on that. If Trump loses, Kasich is gold, right? So he's rolling the dice on a Trump loss. If Trump wins, I guess he'll be at CNN for a while or something. But if Trump loses, Kasich can come right back and say, hey, see, I was then a Trump guy. You got to make me somebody important. I think it's a gamble on a Trump loss. If Trump wins, he's not going to do well. But if Trump loses, that's a good gamble. It's going to pay off. Absolutely, it's going to pay off. So, all right, see if I grab a couple more. Yes, he is a cop. Absolutely. The Kennedy Democrats are going to go right this year. Why do you think that, Doug? Maybe. Really? I feel like Biden is their guy. I feel like Biden is a Kennedy Democrat guy. Why would they go Trump? I don't know. But I feel like, yeah. Dems are going right. Really? Well, I think the rhetoric is going towards the middle. I don't think they're going right. I don't see that at all. I don't see that, at least. I get angry when Democrats cry about post office funding being a constitutional requirement while at the same time looking to abolish the Electoral College and dismantle the First and Second Amendment. Yeah. Yes. Right? The Constitution is critically important, except when it's not. The Constitution is critical, except when I get angry, then no, and then only the parts that I don't like. Yeah, I think that's true. Yes. No substance. Josh, this is a point that I was thinking also. You brought this is perfect. Not one actual policy except, and this is why the Republicans and Fox News jumped on this, the only actual policies that they actually talked about were Bernie policies. I don't know if any of you watched it, but the whole thing, you're totally right, Josh. They talked about it. They did. There was a lot of, and we got to help them and help them and help them. Absolutely true. But the only actual policies they spoke about was Bernie. Why I think Fox News jumped all over that. Absolutely. Absolutely. Kennedy would be an LP. Yes, he would, Michelle. Yes, he would. He would be a libertarian today. Yes, I love that. Kennedy would be. I love that. All right. Larry needs to get Cuomo out of New York State. All right. Let me. I don't need to show you all the stuff. You can watch it on YouTube. It's all over the place. It's on all the news channels. But I do need to show you I have to show you Cuomo's 5 minutes. It's short, and I need to go over it because this guy, he never ceases to amaze me on what an absolutely terrible person he is, and where he do. Let's just watch, and I'll do my commentate because I know you guys love when I comment.
Hello. Today is Monday, day 170.
I'm glad you told me that. Day 170 of what? Oh, of COVID, because you're putting every single thing you have on COVID because you can't talk about any other success you've had because you've had none. So go ahead.
New Yorkers were ground zero for the COVID virus.
See that? Because we got attacked. Ground zero because it was in no way your fault. It was an attack. It was ground zero.
And have gone from one of the highest infection rates on the globe to one of the lowest.
I bet it was because of you.
We climbed the impossible mountain, and right now we are on the other side.
Look at that. Well, then, if that's true, then why do you have checkpoints in my city for me to come in and come out? If that's true. If that's true, why are we still locked down? Why is that? Oh, right, because you're lying. Okay, got it. Thanks.
We did it with the kindness and assistance of so many.
Is that what it was? It was the kindness and assistance? It wasn't people calling on each other? It wasn't you giving us $500 fines? It wasn't you locking down our state and making us lose businesses left and right? It wasn't that. It was kindness. Where was I? I must have missed that kindness. Thanks, man.
New Yorkers want to thank everyone who came to our aid. 30,000 Americans who volunteered to come here to help in our hour of need.
Why do we need so much? And did you have to stop all your regulations so they could come? Weren't they all delayed because you had all those regulations in place that stopped healthcare workers from other states working in our state because you support the cartel system in our state? Oh, you forgot about that. No worries. You're the man.
Your love gave us the strength to carry on.
That's what it was. It was your love.
We went through hell, but we've learned much.
You learned? You've been governor for 10 years, and now you figured it out. Well, you know what? You're slow. I guess better late than never. I appreciate it. You finally learned something.
We know that our problems go beyond the COVID virus. COVID is the symptom, not the illness.
I thought COVID was the end of the world. Now it's just a symptom. So we got COVID because there's some other disease. Wait a minute. I got a feeling that disease is called Trump. Tell me
Our nation is in crisis.
Yep.
And in many ways, COVID is just a metaphor.
It's a metaphor.
A virus attack.
So it's not real. It's a metaphor. I thought it was. All right. Okay. It's a metaphor. Keep going.
When the body is weak and when it cannot defend itself.
It's that when it happens.
Over these past few years, America's body politic has been weakened.
Oh.
The divisions have been growing deeper. The anti-Semitism, the anti-Latino, the anti-immigrant fervor.
So anti-immigrant, anti-Latino, anti-Semitism, that's why we got COVID. That's not a stretch. How about we ask about what you've done for governor in the past 10 years that has made our state great? No, you can't do that. You instead decide, I'm going to jump on unnecessary social issues and then link it to COVID so that you can think I'm great. What a horrible person he is.
Racism in Charlottesville.
Oh, let's bring up Charlottesville because that's why we got COVID. Let's bring up what Charlotte was 2016. Is that right? 4 years ago. Let's bring up Charlottesville. This is no better than when the Republicans ran in 2009 or 2008, whenever it was, and then bringing up 9/11 every 5 minutes. It's the same thing.
Where the KKK didn't even bother to wear their hoods.
Oh my God, because that has everything to do with Joe Biden in New York and COVID and I don't know.
And in Minnesota, where the life was squeezed from Mr. Floyd. Only a strong body can fight off the virus. And America's divisions weakened it. Donald Trump.
There we go. I knew this was all Trump's fault. I was wondering why COVID came, Trump. I was wondering why you're a terrible governor, Trump. Okay, good. Not your fault. Now we're clear. It's not your fault, Trump's fault.
Didn't create the initial division.
We didn't.
The division created Trump.
Oh.
He only made.
So he's the symptom too. All right. I'm not sure who. Everyone's a symptom.
It worse. Our collective strength is exercised through government. It isn't.
Our collective strength is exercised through government. Didn't he just say, I don't know, 30 seconds ago, all the volunteers who came to help us? That's not government. Yeah, that's not government, because what you just said is BS. It's not through government. Government is what hurts us. Government is why it didn't work. How dare you thank 30,000 volunteers for coming and helping us out and then go, it's all through government. You're the problem.
Affect our immune system.
Oh,
and our current federal government is dysfunctional and incompetent.
It's the federal government that's not working, but yours is working, right? It's amazing how that works.
It couldn't fight off the virus.
No way.
In fact, it didn't even see it coming.
But you did.
The European virus infected the Northeast while the White House was still fixated on China.
What were you doing? What were you doing? The White House was fixated on China, while the European virus, as you call it, because you don't want to call it Chinese virus, fine, European, I don't care, call it whatever you want. COVID came to your state, to my city, and what did you do? Nothing. You were worried about impeaching Trump, but he's the bad guy. Okay, guys, I'm not a Trump supporter. I'm voting Joe Jorgensen. I don't have a dog in this fight, except one fight, my state. This guy runs my state, and he's horrible.
The virus had been attacking us for months before they even knew it was here.
They knew it was here. Who? How about you? Did you know it was here?
We saw the failure of a government that tried to deny the virus, then tried to ignore it, and then tried to politicize it.
But you didn't. You didn't know, but they did, not you.
The failed federal government that watched New York get ambushed by their negligence.
You have to hear his words. I just want to pull whatever little hair I have out. We got ambushed by the federal government's negligence. That's why New York suffered. Is that why you sent those people to the nursing home where they all died? Is that why you did it? Because you got ambushed and you were scared? You threw them into their death? Is that why you did that? Is that why you crushed our city? Is that the reason? Because you got ambushed?
And then watched New York suffer.
Oh.
But all through it learned absolutely nothing.
Yeah.
So today.
But you learned, so it doesn't matter. Took you 10 years. Why don't you give him 10 years? It took you 10 years to pull your head out of your ass, as you told me. You still haven't, but you think you have. Well, give him 10. He needs 6 more, and he'll be as smart as you. Give him 6 more years. He'll be as smart as you.
6 months after it began, the nation is still unprepared.
Oh, and why didn't you fix it then? You got 18 million people in your state. You didn't fix it? You couldn't fix it with 18 million. That's a lot of bodies. I could do a whole lot with 18 million bodies.
And we now face a second threat.
Tell me.
But this time not from Mother Nature.
Oh my God.
This is
well, is it Mother Nature? Make up your mind. You just throw stuff out there and people go, oh, he's so smart and savvy. Your speeches make no sense. You contradict yourself within 30 seconds. Is it Mother Nature that got you, or was it the negligence of the federal government that ambushed you? Or were you ground zero from an attack? Which one was it? As long as it's not your fault, I guess that's the answer. Okay, I'm with you. It's not your fault. Mother Nature's fault. It's an ambush. It's the federal government's negligence. It's Trump. He did it. He watched you die, even though he sent the ship in to help out, whatever. He watched you die.
It's a man-made threat by our own negligence.
Oh, you would know nothing about that. You would know nothing about a self-inflicted wound. I thought, let me be quiet.
We now see the virus ricocheting across the country.
Oh my God.
From one state to another.
Yep.
Today, we trail the world in defeating COVID. We have over 5 million cases. Americans learned a critical lesson, how vulnerable we are when we are divided, and how many lives can be lost when our government is incompetent.
Yes. Oh, yes, we did, but the wrong government. See, you're thinking that's true for the federal government. That's true for you. You. Was our state divided when COVID hit? It wasn't. Democrats run our Senate. Democrats run our assembly. You are our executive Democrat. You picked all our judges for the past 20 years, right? The Democrats picked our judges for the past 20 years. So the Democrats run everything in New York State. It's a totally blue state. We weren't divided. What's your excuse? What's your excuse for all the dead New Yorkers, particularly those who you sent to nursing homes to die? What's your excuse for that? We weren't divided. I don't remember Republicans fighting you and stopping you. I don't remember that at all. I remember you have an iron fist doing whatever you wanted and then decided to go on TV every day and say essential workers keep working and non-essential workers too bad. That's what I remember. But, maybe I'm wrong.
But we learned something else, my friends. We saw the negative, but we also saw the positive.
Tell me what that was.
As they proved their way failed, we proved that our way succeeded.
So as they proved their way failed, I don't know what their way is. Is it racism? I don't know. Is that what happened? Or I don't know what it is. Is their way something? I think it's Charlottesville. He doesn't say what their way is because it's just us versus them. This is just flowery garbage rhetoric. This is what he does best. Distraction, throws other people, us versus them. He's our defender. If their way didn't work and yours does, then we're successful then, right? What are you saying? Who's they and whose way didn't work? Your way got tens of thousands of elderly people killed in nursing homes. That's your way. I don't think that's working. Your way has devastated our state so badly that you're going to be taking us to bankruptcy in 2 years. That's a win? That worked? I don't think you understand what works means. I think we have a different definition.
That America can still rise to the occasion. We can put our differences aside and find commonality. Government can tell the truth and can build trust.
No.
We can judge by content of character rather than color of skin. We can...
Why? How in the world is content, character, color of skin have to do with COVID?
Care for one another, that Americans can work together and forge community.
You can't forge community when you keep stepping in. You're the guy who breaks our communities up. Our state is so battered and broken and so oppressive that it literally breaks up families. We have to move out of our state. We have a point here right now in New York State, and some of you know this, and I've been watching this now, and you guys been emailing me stuff. I've been seeing stuff you're sending to me. We're now abandoning places. Long Island's becoming a ghost town. People are packing up and leaving. Upstate New York, central New York, packing up and leaving. They're abandoning their homes, not paying the taxes, not paying the mortgage. Going, I don't care what happens. I'm moving to Tennessee. Bank, good luck. That's what's happening in your state. You're saying that you're winning? You don't know what winning is.
And a competent government.
You don't know what that is.
That of course we will wear masks because we are smart.
No, because you order us. Not because we're smart. You didn't give us that chance. You never gave us a chance to see if we were smart enough to do so or not. You never gave us that. We'll wear a mask because you'll charge us $250 if we don't. Because you order us. That's why we'll wear masks, not because we're smart.
And because I care about you and because you care about me.
No, I don't care about you, so that's a lie. But also, you don't care about me, so it's even. If you cared, you wouldn't destroy my city and destroy my state if you actually cared. So, no, you don't.
Of course we will socially distance.
Tell me why.
Because staying away shows how close we actually are.
No, we'll social distance because you'll find us if we don't. Because you'll charge us $250 for the first time, $500 for the second, $1,000 for the third. Because you will send out uniformed men and women with guns to enforce it. That's why we will. And because you'll take our liquor license away if we don't, so that now our business is shut down. You will destroy our livelihoods if we don't. We'll do it out of fear of your wrath. Not because we care about each other. Because of fear. You never gave us the opportunity. And when you began to give us the opportunity, we started already. We began to try to figure this out, and then you halted it. So no, this all lies. You've made this all up.
Yes, we will set up testing and tracing and do whatever we need to do to mobilize to win this battle because we are America. We win wars.
We haven't won a war since 1945. I don't know what you're talking about. We haven't won a war in 70 years. Were you even born the last time we won a war? You weren't even born last time we won a war. Stop that.
And we are the greatest country on the globe.
That's true. Hey, you said something right. Okay, good.
And for all the pain and all the tears, our way worked.
What way? What's worked? You've made this up. Who's our? You're just saying stuff now. Now you're just like, we're awesome, aren't we? This is just a pep rally, I guess.
And it was beautiful.
Beautiful. Sending elderly people to their death in nursing homes is beautiful. Tens of thousands of dead New Yorkers, beautiful. A devastated economy, beautiful. At least a 60 billion with a B, at least a $60 billion deficit in our state. Beautiful. Evictions coming all over New York. Beautiful. Abandoned homes. People packing up and leaving as fast as they can. It's beautiful. Checkpoints in my city for when you come in and come out. I now officially live in a police state. Beautiful. This is what he doesn't understand what winning and working and beautiful is. Maybe we speak a different language. I don't know what he's saying.
We showed that our better angels are strong.
You did.
And that Americans will rise to their call. We saw that even at the end of the day, even if it is a long day,
tell me,
that love wins.
Love wins. So it was love that wins. What is he just like pulling stuff off t-shirts? He saw on t-shirts someone said love wins. Hey, put that in my speech. I like that. We saw that love wins. So love stopped COVID. COVID's not stopped. So love pays bills. Next time I gotta pay the bank, I'll put $10,000 in love and see if they take it. I'll say, well, Cuomo said love wins. I want to win. I'm gonna pay you in love. What's wrong with him?
Americans' eyes have been opened.
Yeah. Yeah, they have.
And we have seen in this crisis the truth that government matters.
Oh my God, it does. It does matter. Yeah. And it gets in the way like there's no tomorrow. And it kills people and it stops the free market and it stops people from having a living and it locks people in their homes and it forces people to do things to the point of gun and force and imprisonment and fines and fees. Yep. It does all those things. It does matter. It's just not very valuable, but it does matter. It totally matters. Just not very valuable. I can't believe that this guy, his answer, as his answer always is, if only you gave me more power, if only you gave me more money, then everything would be good.
And leadership matters.
You don't have any.
And it determines whether we thrive and grow or whether we live or die.
We're not thriving and growing. My state loses over 100,000 people every single year. Our economy is in shambles. Finance is leaving. The rich people are gone. He literally did a whole video saying, rich people, please come back. They're leaving my city in droves. New York City is about to become a tourist city. That's it. New York City is going to become Orlando. That's what's going to happen. There's nothing left here. He's destroyed it all. He's got rid of cryptocurrencies. He's got rid of cannabis. He's got rid of vaping. He's got rid of technology. He's getting rid of finance. He's getting rid of everything. No. Who's thriving and growing? Government? Yeah. You're stopping it. You can't give me one example. And if you think anyone who's not a New Yorker watching, if you think I'm making this up, don't you think that if he actually had good stats about New York State, he wouldn't say it every day? Of course he would. Of course he would. If he had stats on education or wealth or people coming in or tax or any positive stats, this guy would be yelling those stats from the top of the roof every day. He doesn't say one stat ever. Why? Because he sucks. Because he's a terrible governor, a terrible leader, a terrible human being, and he has failed this state for 10 years straight. And he can look in that camera with a straight face and throw distraction all over the place. But look at Love wins. They're bad. That's all they can do. He did that in 2018, and for some reason, New Yorkers bought that garbage. All I can do is hope New Yorkers don't buy that garbage again. If there's any of us left, if we don't all pack up and move to Tennessee or North Carolina, or wherever we're all going, or Florida or something, because he's throwing us all out. We all have to be united, united, united. He's the guy who literally said his words, no room for conservatives in New York State. His words. He said that, but united.
Now we need a leader as good as our people.
We do.
A leader who appeals to the best within us, not the worst.
Not you, though.
A leader who can unify, not divide.
Not you.
A leader who can bring us up, not tear us down.
Not you.
I know that man.
Who is he? Not you.
I've worked with that man.
Not you.
I've seen his talent.
Okay.
I've seen his strength.
Tell me.
I've seen his pain, and I've seen his heart.
Okay, who's that?
That man is Joe Biden.
Oh.
Joe Biden is what I call America tough.
Ah, America tough. That's what he is. America tough. Anyway, I can't go any further with this guy. I hope you at least got some entertainment out of this. He drives me crazy. He's such a bad governor, and New Yorkers still just vote for him again and again and again. I don't need to show you all of the things that they said, but I'm doing it. I just had to show you that one. I had to. You guys know it's me. I had to do it. There is no doubt. I'm going to grab a couple of the comments. You guys commented the hell out of this, and I'm sure some of them were very good. So let me just grab a couple of these if I could. Hope he never runs for president. He will. He will. Absolutely, he will. Yes. So thank you for your Cuomo comedy bit. That guy's psychotic. Yes, I agree. Absolutely. New York was never ahead of the curve. The curve was already turning down when testing caught up to it. Testing ramped up post-peak. Yes, his or our idea he's just made up. That's not true. Yes. Did he hit them all with state taxes? Of course he did. Of course he did. Yes. I'm glad I'm only metaphorically out of work for 6 months later. Yeah, Amy, I agree. We're all just metaphorically destroyed. It's not real. Our destruction, Amy, your loss of work, it's a symptom. It's a symptom. And the problem, it's all because Trump. It's amazing how Trump is the fault of every single thing, yet New York has been failing for 10 years. But Trump's only been president for 3.5. Huh. Trump is so bad, I guess, that he pre-destroyed New York 6.5 years before he was president. I don't get it, but man, absolutely. I'm not a fan of Cuomo, not my governor. I wish he wasn't my governor. Sadly, he is. Wow, he looks more like another country's president than a state governor. Put the communist symbol pin on his tux and he'd be perfect. Or maybe one of those cool like military hats and a bunch of medals or something. I mean, we could do that too. Yes. Living in New York under Emperor Cuomo II is a hell session with raised taxes, laws, mandates. Need I go on? No, brother. You don't need to, Andrew. We get it 100%. Larry, you're cracking me up. Jay is rolling too. Thank you. I'm trying to be good. Sometimes I can be funny. He gets me going every single time. He does. Absolutely. Got you. Yes. Don't forget about his new book coming out in October on what an awesome job he did. I wish you were joking, but that'll come out. Absolutely. That will come out. Yes. Please clip this commentary and so we can spread it all over the internet. All right. You know what? I'll see if I get my guys to do it. I'll see if we can. Absolutely. Yes. I'm trying to. This guy's disaster. Politicization is created also created the Bernie movement, not just Trump. It's true. I think that is Democrats got tired of Democrats failing and they went to a motivated Bernie. But remember something though, you know, Bernie and Trump both have two things that are very much in common, even though they're obviously opposite sides of the political spectrum. They share several things. They're both passionate. They are both very forward and they both have charisma. So, and most importantly, they're both rebels within their own party. Trump is not a regular Republican and Bernie is not a regular Democrat, right? So I think those aspects they share. And when people are looking for something else, I think they go to one of those two, Jim. I think you're right. They do share some things. Yes. Cuomo's gearing up for 2024, either as Kamala's VP choice if Biden wins, or he runs on his own. Yeah, I think it's right. If Biden wins, Kamala will be the obviously the front runner for 2024, And yeah, Cuomo will be like, I'll be your running mate. Absolutely. I think you're totally right. So I didn't know Cuomo was a physician. What a crock poo. Yes. Thank you for calling out the BS. I don't live in New York, and I still cannot ignore what nobody does. Remember, some guys, please don't live in New York. This is coming to your state. Whatever happens in New York is coming to your state. Absolutely. Yes. Europe got it from China. Yeah, Michelle. Yeah, but he doesn't want to call it the China virus because Trump does. And anything Trump says by default is wrong and evil. By default. So he can't say that. Of course not. Because it's the European virus now. Yes. This is why I voted for you in 2018. Thank you, brother. I appreciate all your support. I hope all those of you who voted for me and supported me in 2018, you know that I'm still here. I haven't left. I'm still trying to fight. Let's make something work. Yes. Collective strength equals collectivism. That's how he sees it. But to be forward, Chris, I actually don't mind, to be clear on, I'm going to be very clear on this. I don't mind the idea of collectivism as long as it's voluntary, right? Collectivism, voluntary, can be very strong. Charities are full of it. Churches are full of it. Civic groups are full of it, right? As long as I'm not forcing you to do it and you want to join my collective and you are free to leave my collective if you choose to, I don't have a problem with it. I'm actually okay with it. I actually don't mind. I don't mind at all. Let me grab a couple more if I could. All right. Where am I? Don't blame me. I voted for Larry Sharpe. Thank you. Yes. He was spreading the virus all over the state as fast as he could. When the SUNY students were sent to New York, he sent them all to Brockport to quarantine. What? Yes. Yes. But his way worked, Kelly. See? Or our way works, whatever way works. Yes, absolutely. Trump sent you everything you asked for. You didn't even use any of it. This is true also. Look, was Trump perfect? Of course not. He's a human being, and of course he made mistakes. We all make mistakes. I got it. But for this guy to say Trump did nothing, stop. That's just not true. Just not true. Yes. Hi, Larry. I don't even want to come visit New York the way you talk about Cuomo. Well, let me be clear about New York City and New York State. Two things. If you've got some time to visit my state and you can visit, please visit. It is really a beautiful state. If you spend time in New York City when there's no COVID, obviously, or when we're not locked down, it's tough to beat New York City culture. Broadway, Lincoln Center. If you like history, we're one of the oldest cities in North America. There's so much good to see. Statue of Liberty, Empire State Building, Freedom Tower, UN, so many great things to see and to do. Every restaurant you can imagine. I mean, it's great. Come visit New York City. Not just that, upstate New York. When COVID's gone, I mean, to find a more beautiful area in the world than the North Country is tough to find. You'd struggle to find a place more beautiful. If you like the outdoors, if you like the mountains and hills and the trails, I mean, it's amazing. And even though it's snowy in the winter, it's still amazing. I mean, Lake Placid is where they had the Olympics. I mean, that's how wonderful the areas are. Central New York is awesome with rivers and lakes. West New York is also amazing with Niagara Falls. I mean, there's so many beautiful parts of New York State. Please come visit New York State if you can. New York City also amazing. It's a great state, which I love so much, which is why I'm so heartbroken. We're a state that should be the greatest state in the nation. There should be 30 million New Yorkers. That if we had a thriving, vibrant state with large cities and beautiful farmland and amazing everything, but we're not. So please come visit anyway when this is over. It's a great place to visit. I don't know if you want to live here, though, to be forward. Everyone I know is thinking about moving. So I don't know if you want to live here, but man, come visit. It's a wonderful place. So didn't Cuomo turn down Remington's offer to make violators? I think you mean the ventilators, and then turn down masks. Yes, that's correct. Yes, absolutely. The far left will use granddad, and if successful, will force him out. Textbooks market. I like that. Marxist, I love that. Yes. All right. Andy/Andy ticket. Love that. Yes. 10 years ago, there was 20 million. Now there's 18 million. Yes, maybe less now after COVID. The odds are very high. New York State is going to lose 2 congressional seats. So many people are leaving the state. Yes. Thank you for doing your part in screwing up college football. Yes, that too. Yes, absolutely. Absolutely. Yes. All right. The KKK can't get COVID when they wear their hoods because I love you and it's Trump's fault. Yeah. That was pretty much his speech. You did that pretty good, Todd. That was good. You could be a reporter. You could have done it perfect. New Yorkers come there because we got ambushed by birds pooping COVID state. You basically wrote his speech. Well done, Todd. I love it. Yes. Totally blue state. Very good. Yes, I love that. Very good. All right. You're too nice. He speaks in gibberish. Yes, I love that. Say it now. Larry Sharpe, New York City. Thank you, guys. I appreciate that. Absolutely. Yes. Join me in South Carolina. I was considering leaving. It's why I decided to run, because I didn't want to leave. Right. I did not want to leave. I didn't vote for a socialist asset. I'm not living with him. Then again, every Kentuckian. Oh, you mean that guy? Yes, the Kentucky guy. Right. Absolutely. Yep. All right. Let me see if I can go down here. There's so many of them. Yes. Cuomo, his bullshit is so deep. We need a higher pair of muck boots. Absolutely. Yes. Absolutely. But Larry, winning the war on drugs. Oh my God. Yeah, I know. Yeah, I know. I have a lot of friends that own businesses, and all I hear from them is Cuomo has devastated businesses. Yes. Absolutely. His way is not winning. I don't know why. Yes. When push comes to shove, I'll kill your family and friends to remind you of my love. That's how much he loves us, James. He will put us in jail, destroy our businesses, and beat us and fine us because he loves us. That's the reason why. Because you know what? Love wins. Yeah, it does. Absolutely. Yeah. He sure loved the old people in nursing homes. Yeah, he did. Absolutely. Yeah, he did. Absolutely. Hate doesn't pay bills. Oh, only love pays bills? That's the problem. See, I'm trying to pay my bills with hate when I should be paying them with love. Yes. Government matters. Oh my God. Isn't that crazy? So crazy. I can't believe that. Yes. Government in New York doubled or tripled the deaths by forcing nursing homes to take COVID patients. Yes, absolutely. He's the reason I lean libertarian. See that, Paul? There's something good about His Majesty. He makes some people libertarians. There we go. Yes. He has empowered Karens with cameras, and they are very happy. Tip lines all over the state. Absolutely. The secret state police, calling on your own neighbor. Absolutely. Very common. I live in New York City. It's worse here. Yep. Yes. I'm going to try to my hardest to recruit you to run in South Carolina to live in New York. Like, thank you, Jonathan. I appreciate that. Government matters. What a crock of shite. Yes, Tony, I completely agree. Yes. New York City will never be Orlando. It doesn't have a Disney World, let alone the other parks as well. Yeah, all right. It's got Walter now busting my stones. Yeah, okay. Maybe I mean it'll be a tourist city. That's what I mean. We do have amazing tourist sites. We don't have Disney World. That's true. We don't have that. But we do have amazing shows. We have a lot of good stuff here in New York City. So we could become a tourist city. So yes, absolutely. Long Island here, he's a disgrace. Yes, he is. Yes. He drove out Trump. He did. Trump's not coming back. See, it's another rich guy who's not coming back. Not even Trump. Oh my God. Yes. Now come on. You know what they need. More gun laws. That would solve all of our problems if we just got rid of guns. Yes. That would work. Yes, absolutely. We don't have an over-policing problem. We have an over-regulation problem. Yep. Ding, 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 ding. Yep. Absolutely. You really got Cuomo pegged. Yeah, I watched the guy for a year and a half as I ran against him. I know him very well. I know him better than most. Absolutely. Yes. Larry, I feel like you don't like Andrew Cuomo very much. Remember, love wins. That's why I lost. If I just would have loved him, Tim, then I would have won. If I just would have loved him, then I would have won. New York City going to be full of vacant skyscrapers. James, you don't know how worried I am about exactly that. That's a serious worry. All those skyscrapers, all of a sudden people start leaving and business goes away. What's going to happen? That's a serious problem. You're right. And I don't want that, right? You don't have to do this. Is what's happened already, right? What you're saying, right? Companies can hire people to work from home instead of paying rents and taxes. Yeah, New York City will be the same. I've been saying this for months. For months, I've been saying New York City's not going to recover the way they say it will. It's not going to. Why would if I hire you, James, and to live in New York City, I got to pay you at least double what I have to pay you if you live someplace else in Ohio or Oklahoma or some other place. At least double, if not triple. Why would I pay you double or triple when I can pay you a good salary? You'd be happy. If I was going to pay you $120,000 a year here, I'll pay you $60,000 someplace else. You'll be happy. I'll be happy. And we'll get the same amount of work out of you. So yes, you're totally right. Or I still pay $120,000 to get the best talent in the world because outside people are only getting 60. 100%, you're right. Yes, it is horrible. Yes. Larry, there's no way Cuomo would want to debate you if given a chance. Yeah, I don't think he would, but it would be amazing if he did. I do love that. Yes. If I didn't have a state retirement coming soon, I would have been gone by now. This is the problem, Anthony. You're right. People in New York State, they take their retirement and then they go someplace else. It's another reason why we're getting hurt. Absolutely true. Yes. And yes, he did back out of the League of Women Wars debate. He was not there. When we had a debate, I made a debates. So we keep talking about get her in debates. I got in debates and he didn't show. So nice, but I guess yes. We need both liberals and conservatives. That's diversity. Yes, Christopher, we need all Americans. Just because someone's liberal or conservative, as long as you don't want to force your way on others, I'm okay. You want to do things in your conservative way or your liberal way in your family and your friends, good for you, man. Go on with your bad self. Just don't force me to be like you. And we're good. Yes, that's how we get diversity. 100% agree. Yes. Cuomo makes me sick, and my theater friends are still fawning over him. Well, I don't know why they are when they're getting crushed. The theater has been destroyed by him. Oh my God, destroyed by him. Yes, absolutely. Larry's my governor. I wish that were true, but well, what are you going to do? Yes. Yes. Thanks, Larry. I appreciate that. All right. All right, guys. I want to say thank you so much for watching. Please do me a favor. If you like what I'm doing, if you're happy with what I'm doing, then support it. Head on down to Patreon. Throw me a couple bucks, 10, 25, or 100 bucks. Go do that. I appreciate it. I love what you guys are doing. Thank you for being part of this. The back and forth is powerful. It shows that we're together. Let's keep going. I will see you all tomorrow.